history's most remarkable rulers, RAZIA SULTANA, the first Muslim woman to ever sit on an imperial throne. In 13th century Delhi, when women were confined to palace walls, she shattered every ceiling imaginable. Picture this: a young woman raised in the halls of power, not content with just learning the art of governance, but mastering warfare, riding horses, and leading armies.
Let me take you back to 13th century Delhi, where a remarkable woman defied all odds to become one of history's most fascinating rulers. This is the story of RAZIA SULTANA, the first and only female sultan of Delhi. Born into royalty around 1205, RAZIA wasn't your typical princess. While other royal daughters were taught the traditional arts of embroidery and poetry, young RAZIA was learning statecraft, military strategy, and leadership from her father, Sultan Iltutmish. You see, her father saw something special in her, a natural leader's instinct that outshone her brothers. He would often say, "This daughter of mine is better than many sons."
While other princesses were taught needlework, RAZIA learned swordsmanship. Her father, Sultan Iltutmish, saw something special in her, a natural leader who could carry his legacy forward.
When her father died in 1236, despite his wishes, the nobles weren't exactly thrilled to have a woman in charge. They placed her brother on the throne instead. But here's where it gets interesting: her brother turned out to be more interested in wine and women than ruling an empire. After just 6 months of his incompetence, the nobles had no choice but to acknowledge what Iltutmish knew all along: RAZIA was their best option. Now, RAZIA wasn't just content with being sultan in name. She completely shattered gender norms of her time. She abandoned the traditional female attire for masculine dress, rode elephants through the streets of Delhi, led armies into battle, and even minted coins with her name, declaring herself the pillar of women and queen of the times. During her 4-year reign, she proved to be exactly what Delhi needed. She built schools, roads, and wells. She encouraged artists, poets, and writers. She didn't just rule, she revolutionized. She appointed people based on merit rather than birth.
When she finally ascended to the throne in 1236, she didn't just sit pretty wearing royal robes. No, RAZIA rode into battle wearing warrior's garments, commanding her troops with the fierce courage of a lioness. She even adopted the title Sultan instead of Sultana, making it clear she wasn't ruling as a woman but as a sovereign. Perhaps her greatest legacy wasn't just being the first, it was how she ruled. She built schools, supported artists, and established libraries. She didn't just wear the crown, she carried the weight of progress on her shoulders.
A fearless ruler who defied all odds. At just 30 years old, she became the first and only female sultan of Delhi in 1236. But here's where it gets interesting. She wasn't afraid of anything, not even lions. There's this fascinating story about how she walked straight into a lion's cage just to prove her courage and silence those who questioned her ability to rule because she was a woman.
She may have ruled for just 4 years, but she left a legacy that would inspire generations to come. But power attracts jealousy like honey attracts bees. The nobility, unable to accept a woman ruler, began plotting against her. The same people who once bowed before her now whispered conspiracies in dark corners. Yet RAZIA faced every challenge head-on, climbing metaphorical mountains daily to prove her worth.
Something unheard of at the time, but perhaps most remarkably, she did all this while facing constant opposition from those who simply couldn't accept a woman in power. The nobles plotted against her, spread rumors, and questioned her every decision. Yet she stood firm, facing each challenge with the courage and wisdom that had impressed her father years ago.
4 years of remarkable rule. Her own brother conspired with jealous nobles to overthrow her.
The same nobles who couldn't accept a woman's rule finally succeeded in their revolt.
RAZIA SULTANA's story reminds us that true leadership knows no gender, and courage knows no bounds. In her final battle, she fought with the same courage that had defined her life, refusing to surrender even when surrounded by enemies.
But even in defeat, RAZIA fought like the warrior she was, dying on the battlefield rather than surrendering her throne.
Her remarkable reign was cut short. At the age of 35, she met a tragic end in Haifa, Haryana, when she was defeated in battle and killed in 1240.
In the end, she wasn't just the first Muslim woman emperor, she was a warrior.
But even today, RAZIA SULTANA remains a powerful symbol of female leadership and courage in Indian history.
8 centuries later, RAZIA Sultana's legacy lives on. She wasn't just the first female sultan of Delhi, she was a pioneer who proved that leadership knows no gender. In a world where women still fight for equality in many places, her story reminds us that courage, wisdom, and determination can break even the strongest barriers. So the next time someone tells you something's impossible because of who you are, remember RAZIA Sultana, the princess who became a sultan, the woman who dared to rule in a man's world, and the leader who changed history.